Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then now's the time to call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099 and do it immediately. You see, they're looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review most of the books submitted to them. And they'll even give you their feedback. And if they like what they read, Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, and other outlets. They'll handle everything. Copyright protection, printing, cover art, publicity, and editing. So if you've written a novel, a children's book, a cookbook, inspirational work, a book of poetry, or biography, and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. For your free author submission kit, call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099.
This is the Page Publishing Book Club. I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini.
'Cause I'm a woman.
And tonight's show is all about the women, the power, the determination, the resolve to overcome the most insurmountable odds and keep moving forward. It's just kind of how it worked out this week. I happen to have a slew of authors ready to publish their first books, and they all had one thing in common. You are about to hear from a group of women who will not, cannot, flat out refuse to let anything stop them. Elma J. wrote Deborah's Dilemma. This is based on a true story, right?
Well, a lot of it is. I can't say the whole thing is, but definitely the beginning, it's about my childhood and all the different things I went through, growing up. It was kind of rough, but somehow I made it through. That was one of the dilemmas that happened to me, getting over my childhood. I was raised in a home, and my aunt, and she had, some problems. And then I witnessed her having a nervous breakdown and things like that. I survived that. I didn't know what was going on at the time, and they told me later on that's what had happened.
Your main character, Deborah, is based on you, but, how does the story go?
It's a stalking. Later on in the book, she's being stalked. And she does a lot of things to try to handle that and try to resolve the situation. And where she reported to the cops, and they weren't much help because, she wasn't able to identify the person. The person would always, have their face covered, a mask or something like that, and so she wasn't able to give them much information, so it wasn't much the police could do, for her.
You didn't have a stalker, did you?
No, that part I didn't. I didn't have a stalker. I had a relationships, and I had trouble getting out of the relationship, but I really didn't have a stalker.
So why did you write this?
Well, I wrote it. I was sitting at the computer one day, and I was, just working on the computer, and I said, well, I think I'll write a book, And then I was talking with my son, and I was talking to him about some of the things I went through. And he said, well, put it in the book. Put it in the book. So that's what I did. I put it in the book. And it's based on me and some friends of mine. It's in the book because everybody I give a book to, I said, did you find yourself in the book? And they would say, yeah. So these are real people that, are friends of mine and acquaintances.
Is this the first in a series of books?
Yes, I am working on another book. Yes, I am.
And it's the same person?
No, this one's a little different. There is quite a few things I forgot to put in the first book. So some people was like, did you put that in the book? And I don't know. I said, well, I guess I have to write another book then. The one I'm working on right now is a little different.
Is it tough for you to sit down and write?
No, it just flowed out of me. I just started writing, and it just flowed out of me. I have been working on this book for a while, and, and then I would go back to it. I would leave and go back to it. And so my family kept encouraging me to go ahead and finish the project.
Who's the reader that you're looking for?
I think it would be for the younger generations, pretty much.
Are you doing anything to let people know about your book?
Yes, I'm on Facebook and also Twitter. Mostly I talk about it on Twitter more than...
Getting any responses?
Yes, had several responses, and the people that have read the book, they find it very interesting. They said scary, part of it's scary, and emotional, and it's a little bit of everything. You laugh and you cry, and emotional for a lot of people.
Did you always write?
Yes, I remember writing things, and in school when I had to write reports and everything, and I always got good grades on it, on my reports and things like that. And, I have written different things, but this is the first serious work that I've done.
You had a good experience with Paige?
Yeah, it was very good experience with them. We went back and forth on some things, but then I was satisfied with her work.
And you got your certificate saying you're a published author?
Yes, I do.
How's that feel?
It feels exciting, and I have a bookcase, and you should have seen me when I put my book on my own bookcase. That was exciting to me. I said, oh, my goodness, I put my own book up here. And I think the book is inspiring, how much a person can really take. So it's, there is the limit, and it's the turbulent life of a troubled soul.
She's able to get through.
Yeah, well, with the help of God. I mean, she was raised up in the church, and if it wasn't for God, I know I wouldn't have made it through with some of the things that I did have to go through.
You know what, Elma? Having a higher power never hurts. You got to have something to believe in. And now Elma can look at that book on her bookcase and feel accomplished. Speaking of prayer, and you can do it no matter what, Tanya Parker wrote Marquise Strong, A Miracle. And that miracle is her son, right, Tanya?
Yes, my only son. He has cerebral palsy. He was diagnosed when I had an ultrasound and amniocentesis done December 26, 1990, and said he was a normal baby boy, a healthy baby boy. But, something happened, and he came early. They stitched him in me, and he came early, and damage was done to his head to cause him to have cerebral palsy, and they said he was going to be blind, deaf, a vegetable, but he proved the medical science wrong. I mean, he has cerebral palsy, but he can see, he's not deaf, and he's very smart and bright. He can go out and have a normal life. And that's one thing I instill in him. He can have a normal life.
How did you do that?
With a lot of prayer and determination to make sure that he develops to be as healthy as he can be.
Did you have help?
No help. No help at all. As far as always going to the doctors every month, making sure he has physical therapy, all that. He didn't start walking until he was 6. He used to crawl everywhere he went. He didn't start talking until he was 2. But I kept talking to him and told people to talk to him. And one day he had a seizure that almost took him out of here, and he was in a coma. But when he came out 7 days later, he was talking complete sentences.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's with a lot of love and a lot of prayer that brought him through. Doctors can say what they want to say, but only God knows.
So he's what, 24, 25 now?
Yeah, he's 24. He just turned 24.
What made you write this book now?
I have always had the book. I have many books. Many things, my life experiences, because, my friends and my family used to tell me all the time, as much as I go through, they say, girl, you should write a book. So I always had journals. So I have a lot of manuscripts out, about different things that I went through that encourage, women that you too can go through and you can make it, stand tall, regardless of what your situation might be. You can do it.
Man.
Yeah, well, I'm letting everybody know that it's out, and my friends and stuff, been calling me from Texas, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, telling me they got the book, it's good, they like it, they even read it, for the second and third time, a lot of people around, and then they're putting it on Facebook, so it's getting out.
I would think other women in similar situations would want to read this book.
Yes, I mean, it's a book for women to read. Like I said, I wanted to be, inspiration to all women. So whatever I have to do to get it out, word by mouth, or on the internet, or any way I can.
And you're going to keep writing.
Oh yeah. The next one that I want to do is Little Girl in a Messed Up World. That's going to be next, and the other one is called He Touched Me. And I'm just going to wait and see how this does, and then I'm going to try to publish those two.
Thanks, Tanya. for giving us yet another example of you don't know what you're made of and what you can handle until you're faced with a difficult challenge. And not only has Tanya raised her son with cerebral palsy while working part-time, she's also a foster mom, takes in kids all the time. Okay, did you ever feel like you knew something was going to happen before it did? Well, Maria Palomino gets feelings from her dreams. She wrote, Trapped in Two Worlds, My Darkest Dreams. Maria.
Well, Trapped in Two Worlds, My Darkest Dreams, it's a base of my dreams that I had when I was younger, and, over the time they became stories. And the reason why I put Trapped in Two Worlds, My Darkest Dreams is because it's like between the fantasy of my dream and the reality. So sometimes when I dream, it's a mixed up of fantasy and my reality.
Where did these dreams come from?
Maybe because sometimes, when I was, actually I never told this to anybody, but when I was younger, around 9, I moved to a small town, and I was bullied by a girl. So probably since then, everything, I was a happy girl because, I didn't care about, bad things, but I was bullied, so probably that's why I had this dream. And sometimes when I dream, now when I'm, over the time, when I get older, I kind of realize why I have those dreams. Pretty much are like nightmares. Sometimes my dreams are like it tells you what's going to happen in the future. It tells you sometimes, all depends what type of life you're living, you're dreaming about. So because our mind never starts working, our dreams, are like a projector of your real life mixed with your fantasy. So the dreams that, I had, they're related because let's see, when I dream like I am, chasing by people or, having a nightmare or something, I'm always dreaming that I'll be like, oh, wait, I can survive. Oh, I can do this because it's my dream. Oh, I can. And then the real life that happened to me too, I can go through a lot of things that happened to me, and I'm just being positive about it, and I'll be like, oh, I can go through it. I got it. So it's like a guide you to something. Like if my dreams are very dark during the day, I'm very positive. You know what I mean? So sometimes are part of it. So you have to see what type. Sometimes I don't really believe on like a psychic type of things, because some people ask me, oh, are you a psychic? No, I'm just by experiences of my dreams, I can only probably kind of tell about my life. I don't know about anybody else's life, So many people have the same dreams. Not everybody write about them, but it's there, the people that dreams, and, they have nightmares. They are there, and they might not, they might shy to say it, but,
Did you have a dream that you should write a book?
Well, yeah, actually, I had a dream actually when my dad passed away, and for me it was very devastating. So because I am, a lonely person, I don't really, write or I don't really talk too much about my situations and stuff like that. So I just decided to write it down, and I dreamed that my dad, I was looking for my dad back in Mexico, and I remember those days. My dad was really sick, and I had a dream that I was looking for him very desperately, and it's in the book. I wrote it as a call, desperate to find my father. And the next day, somebody told me my dad passed away, so it was very devastating for me to know that he wasn't there anymore. So it's I think my dreams tells me, what's gonna happen or what's happening, because my feelings, my emotions,
No, I know exactly what you're saying. How do you feel about this book? Do you feel like a lot of people are going to read it?
I think it all depends about our mind. If you set up a goal and you say you're going to do it, you do it. And then whenever you try to reach your goal, you have to be positive about it. If you're not positive, it's probably a change that it's not going to be successful. It's all about your mind. So for me, my book is going to be successful because it's, you know, it's different, it's positive, and, you know, I feel like it's going to happen.
Maria, I am all about positive energy. I hear you, man. It goes a long way. No doubt about it. And you know what? I think our dreams can be a true indicator of what's really going on in our lives. But most of us either can't remember them or don't know how to interpret them. You know, I also believe that women in particular can be very intuitive if we just allow ourselves to let those thoughts and feelings kind of filter through, and then we can think about them long enough to make sense of them. You know what I'm saying, Rob? Yeah, we need a little respect. We got to take a quick break, but I love this song. Is this the best song ever? You are going to want to come right back, all right? So get something to drink, something to eat. We have more inspirational stories coming up right after this. This is the Page Publishing Book Club.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-204-6099 for your free author submission kit.
Hey, come on back to the Page Publishing Book Club. It's just me, Aretha, and Rob Barrett's my engineer. On the other side of the glass, taking notes. Great show tonight, huh, Rob? Tonight we are featuring women authors whose books were inspired by circumstances some people could never handle, or so you would think. The title of Norma Boucher's book says it all, Reinventing Yourself After 40. Norma, isn't that what women do? And I'm not talking just after 40.
Yes, they do. After my daughter went off to college, I started playing tennis. 6 months after that, I was good. I was, I think, 38, almost 40. I went to Queensboro Community College. Never played basketball or softball before when I was 45, and I was on their team. And I played tennis at that age for Queensboro. I think I was the first woman to go to the national and went past 2 rounds. And then when I was in Alfred University, I was 50 when I was playing the young girls. And I won all my matches. I won 9 out of 10 matches. And they were 18, 19, and I was 50 years old.
That's amazing. And you went back to school as well?
I went for my GED. A friend of mine saw me playing tennis. And he said to me one day, why don't you go to school and get your GED? I laughed. I told him that, no, it's not for old people like myself. Eventually, he talked me into it, and I went. And I failed. Told him that, you see, it's not for me. He says, yes, please go back. There's another school further up. Go to that school. I went, and I failed again. And I went back to him, and I told him, school is not for me. I'm not going back. And he says, no, you have to go back. And I went to another school, and they put me in the basement. And they say, when you get on the top level, you will take the exam. I took the exam again, and I failed it. I passed the English and the previous exam, and I wrote a letter. It took me about 3 weeks to write a couple lines, and I received my GED. It was the lowest score you can make. And then I went to a 4-year college to register. And the lady, she says, do you have a GED? I said, yes. yes, I do. And she read it. She says, how old are you? I says, I'm 45. She says, this GED score is too low. And how you want to go to college and you don't even know your own age. And she handed me back my GED piece of paper.
I felt really, really, really low. A security guard saw what happened and came over to me and says, take the 17A bus. It's going to Queensborough Community College. They'll hold your hand a little bit over there. And I did not thank this man. I just wanted to get home. And on my way home, I'm talking to God when a bus stopped by me and says, jump in, miss. I said, are you going to Queensborough Community College? The driver says, yes, hop in. And that's it. But I was not satisfied. I thought that I had a lot more growth inside of me.
Geez, Norma, so you wound up going to Alfred University, you killed on the tennis team, and now it's 20 years later. Then what happened?
During my interviews with a producer for the ABC television program, Faces of Courage, suggested that I write about my life. He told me that his father was so impressed by my experiences that he, in his 60s, had decided to enroll in college. Yes.
Oh, Norma, and now you've written the book.
And now I've written a book. Arthur Ashe, Gail Deaver, Hank Aaron, and Jesse Owen, and Norma Boucher. I've had one book signed already, and there's one to come soon. And I have cards, and I live in Rochdale Village. There's a lot of people live here, and they're reading it, and they're loving it.
What a great story, Norma. You are such an inspiration. The more people said no, the more Norma said yes. What's better than that? Lillian Longendorfer is a pathologist at a Pennsylvania hospital. She's a very busy woman. She writes when she can to free her mind. We'll check out how determined she was to write The Quad Consortium and The Sword of Baal. Put this together for us, Lillian.
It takes place on an imaginary solar system at the edge of our solar system. And it involves a geologist who is trying to forget his past, but is eventually forced to face it and get rid of a tyrant. But at the same time, where he is working on the planet, there are 4 planets, and he's working on one of them. And a sword that is trapped in the archaeological dig is found that eventually proves to have magical powers. And they go from there. It becomes an adventure story after that. I had been thinking about writing something similar, a fantasy kind of thing. My husband is a fantasy artist. My son is a fantasy artist, and I do artwork, but I'm the realist in the family. And when I was reminded by my son that my mother-in-law had written him a poem when he was a child about a dragon and him as Sir Edwin of Airedale, which was the street that we lived on. And I thought, well, it might be fun to try and write something that was fantasy for an adult. And that's what ended up as this book. I had been writing short stories on and off for my own pleasure over the years anyway.
I mean, you sound like a pretty busy person.
It's a full day.
Yeah. So when are you writing books?
Well, I tend to write those after I get home at night and the dishes are done and everybody's sitting down and they are watching television, and then I sort of get lost in writing and I write a couple hours a night, something like that. Or that I don't write at all. It depends on how tired I am.
So is this a book you'd been thinking about writing for some time?
That one I had been thinking, this one I'd been thinking about for some time. I got a little frustrated because I didn't understand or ever take any courses in creative writing. So I decided to take one, particularly because I didn't understand the mechanism of how you write a novel. And once I got that and then showed some of the pages to a professor to creative writing, and got some encouragement, and I just went from there. And it was fun because the characters sort of took me where they wanted to go after I played with it for a while.
Yeah, that's what people say. Once you get on a kind of get into a groove, the book kind of takes you over.
Right, it does. And, like I've been driving back and forth to work, and I would think, okay, my character's in this situation. How do I get him in or out of it? It was kind of fun.
So you would advise anybody who wants to write to take a creative writing course?
For me, it was helpful because it gives you the mechanics of it, the ideas and the thoughts, and they challenge you, too, to come up with a topic and then write something about it. So your mind is challenged, and I thought it was very helpful.
What was your feeling working with Paige?
Well, I thought they were very helpful. I was encouraged because when I sent the book to them in the first place, I wasn't real sure that anybody was going to, accept it. And then when they did, I was pretty excited about it. They took me through the steps very carefully. The editing went well. And if I had any questions, it was very easy to get them answered. And I thought that was a good thing.
What are you doing to get the word out?
I'm trying to get the book signings together. I have 2 contacts at the library here in Honesdale and Milford, which is where my husband has the gallery. I do have my books in his gallery. It's a start, but it's a slow start. But
a start nonetheless, Lillian. And a book she was so determined to write, she managed to find time to take a course to figure out how to do it. It's the old, if you want it bad enough, you will figure out how to do it. Well, I hope you got some inspiration tonight. I hope you heard yourself in some of these stories. And, maybe you can start writing that book. That book you've been wanting to write. You can start sharing your story. That wraps up another edition of the Page Publishing Book Club. Tune in next week, unless there's a Mets game, for another shot in the arm. More inspiration right here on 710 WOR. Have a great weekend. And do yourself a favor. Write something.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple, iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-204-6099 for your free